Welcome back to Young Tripp Reactions. The first video we're going to do is Dunkin Donuts manager unalives disrespectful customer. You know, when I first was looking at this, because I did it instantly, started like recording the video instantly as a reaction. I didn't watch it first. But when I was first recording this, I was like, you can't do that. And I was thinking about like the ladies out at Smoothie Kings. And I was like, this is worse than Smoothie Kings, right? Is, what I was thinking at first. This is worse than Smoothie Kings. But then other information came out. And then it was like, he took out the trash once you hear the whole story. That's why you can't really say anything until you hear the whole story. You can think, oh, that's not right. And in regular circumstances, you would be right. You can't just, push somebody down or knock somebody out because they said a word you don't like, because a lot of people are going to say things you don't like. But in this case, the guy, the Dunkin Donuts manager, he took out the trash. I'll let you listen so you can understand why. Let's get into it. My homie, Willie D live. My homie, Willie D from the Ghetto Boys, y'all.
Willie D live.
What's up, family? One word upended the lives of two men. On one side, 27-year-old Corey Pujols, no criminal history. On the other side, 77-year-old Vanell Cook, registered sex offender. See, what had happened is Vanell did not like the fact that he had cold coffee. So he parked his car, got out, stormed inside, and gave Corey a piece of his mind. That turned out to be a fatal decision when he called Corey the N-word. That would be his last time calling anybody on earth the N-word. Check it out.
The long and short of it is that here obviously at Dunkin', he's a regular. He normally comes through here and orders a large hot coffee. But today, maybe he's having a rough day or something, and he decided to be extremely profound at the mouth. And I asked him respectfully on the microphone, could you please not use that kind of language, obviously with me and my employees. And as well as that, and he said no, and then he came around to the window. He kept going at the window. And then I guess he was going to come inside, so I came inside. I came on this side to let him know. He asked for the manager. Our current store manager is off already. She worked morning shift, and she's currently otherwise here. So I would be for the senior shift. I've been here a little bit longer than he has, so I was reserving responsibility for that. In any case, I came out to let him know. I said, listen, sir, with the profanity that you use, I would highly recommend that you go on about your business. We don't want to serve you any coffee today. Maybe you can try again another day, but you have clearly upset the atmosphere here, and we would like for you to go on about your business. I asked him to do that repetitively. It's all on camera. As I mentioned, he came inside, and when he came inside, he addressed me, and he was looking. I said, hey, listen, the manager's not here right now. I'll give you the manager's store number and all that good stuff. And he didn't want it, and I said, sir, well, can you please go on about your business again and have a good day? He said,
everything so far so good. Let's get back into it.
You're a nigger. And then I said, and I'm sorry, I had a little bit of an issue with it. I said, say it again, and he did. Right hook, send him down.
So what does that that being said that you can't hit somebody because they say something you don't like?
I very well.
I'm just telling you, brother.
No, I agree. Believe me. I'm terrified right now, but I agree with what you're saying. You shouldn't. I have had a fit of racism since I've only been here about 2 months, and I've dealt with so much of it. And I'm not saying that is a reason to do it. I'm not.
I got people that say a bunch of hateful and horrible stuff to me every single day. For the past like 16 years, I let it go in one ear and out the other. It ain't gonna hurt you. This will get you in trouble. It's not gonna get you arrested, but I mean, dude, you hit him and he fell down.
Yeah, and he hit his head pretty good.
And he should have never said what he said. But guess what? That's the country we live in. You say what you want to say. Yeah. If you don't like it.
And see, my first real evaluation of this, and I'll even still say it. My first real evaluation is, yeah, people can say things, but you know that that's an offensive word, especially when it comes to African Americans using that word. And somebody who's not African American using that word is, especially somebody of that particular race using that word towards somebody that is that race, is gonna always be looked at as offensive and racist. You know what I'm saying? Because back in slavery, regarding our ancestors, that word was, used in a negative way towards us, and obviously, the guy, the older guy, was using it in that old fashioned of a way. The old guy is like 77 years old. So he been, as Willie's gonna say soon too, he's been using it for 77 years. You know what I'm saying? Probably even all the way back in his diapers, as Willie is gonna say, right? So it's not, knowing that he's 77 years old, right? We're in 2026. He's 77 years old. That tells you how long he's been around, and everything. So I just wanted to go ahead and just explain that and break that all the way down. Let's get back into it.
You're saying, dude, get freaked out.
Slip your fall, push the fell.
Right hook and fell. My apologies for the.
He was hit and he fell down.
Keep down. I don't want this other. You hit him. You punch him and he fell.
I'm not one to run from what I've done.
No, you're fine.
And again, he's a regular, so I honestly feel like about this situation.
All right, no worries. Some guys don't go at you.
Yes, sir. You should take it easy.
Advertisement, y'all.
Howdy. Gentleman came in, was being...
So check this out, family. At first, I'm thinking, man, you can't just be swinging on old people, man, like that. You can't just be doing that. But considering the fact that this guy, you got to consider everything, fam. Like when you look at this guy's background, first of all, he's 77-year-old white dude. He's using the N-word. So he's been using it for 77 years. I'm sure even in his pampers, it's probably mommy and mammy and his pappy. That's probably the first word that they taught him. So he's been using it and getting away with it for 77 years, right? The prosecutors described this dude as an unsympathetic victim. That's what the prosecutors described him as. The dude has a history of exploiting children. He's a registered sex offender.
You heard that? See, I was just like Willie, like, you can't do that. What? But then you start hearing that. He's a registered offender. I can't say, the full word on YouTube, but he's a full offender. And really, Willie should not have been saying the full word either. He is a full-on offender of women and children. You know, but yeah, I was like Willie too. I was like, well, you can't say that. You can't, you know, yeah, he can't say that, but you can't, you know, swing on him and basically put him down on the floor. What? But then when you start thinking about, like Willie said, you got to put everything together. Well, when you do that, then you're like, he was a what? Well, I don't want him around my kids. Or I don't want him around my nephews, my nieces, or anybody like that. Heck nah. He took out the trash. Right? Then that's when you start thinking that. Because, you know, he deserved what was going on. You know, he deserved what happened to him. I mean, he deserved what happened to him. He deserved what was going on. He deserved what came his way. Right? So that's why you have to evaluate everything. And like I said, when I first did this recording, I was like, you can't be doing that. Oh, this is worse than the situation at Smoothie Kings. That quickly changed. That's why you got to get the contents of everything. But let's get back into it. Yeah. He's one of the worst of the worst. He's one of those. He like, you know, little girls and little boys. Yeah. A straight up uncivilized mutt. Let's get back into it. As me and Willie like to call it.
I feel nothing.
Absolutely, I feel nothing.
Being very rude to this gentleman, which is the on-duty manager.
Acting manager for all intents. So let me just say, my name is Corey Pujols.
I'm trying to get on to you, man.
Yeah, no.
You can't let, and I'm telling you from here on out, you can't let somebody says and anger you.
Yeah.
Like I said, I deal with it and I let it go on. I mean, people say nasty and hateful stuff to him and I.
Oh, believe me,
job.
I know.
For no reason.
I know it.
You're going to have people like that throughout your life. You just got to let it go in one ear and right out the other. And just realize that he's going to leave and be on his way and you're going to still be here working. Right. You know?
He ain't gonna be on his way today.
We'll let them get him loaded up and everything like that. Just do what you got to do, bro. I'll be in here in a minute.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Triple.
So the conflict started moments earlier in the drive-thru when Vanell, he was just going off according to the manager. He said he was using a lot of profanity, and for whatever reason, this guy was just having a bad day. He said he's a regular customer there, but on this particular day, you know, he just was on one. And he tried to tell the dude to calm down. Dude told him, man, shut up. And then, you know, hit him with the N-word, you know, the proverbial N-word, you know, hit him with that proverbial N-word. And next thing you know, Cook got caught with a right hook. He cooked Cook with a right hook. Yeah. So, according to the report, this happened on May 4th, 2021 at a Tampa Dunkin Donuts when this dude became agitated over his coffee order and he started using racial slurs. I'm absolutely sure he thought this was going to be a regular old N-word using day. But little did he know it would be his last time being disrespectful to a human being based on their skin color.
Absolutely right. Willie is absolutely right. He didn't realize that it was going to be his last time ever being disrespectful to anybody ever again. Especially using, you know, that N-word. Let's get back into it.
I always ask the chance. Y'all always get it wrong. I'm like, okay, so we not here and identify you at the window. I mean,
So So he got mad because you asked him if he wanted ice or hot coffee.
Yeah. Instantly, off rip, he was already mad.
That's that entitlement.
Okay, gotcha. So instantly he was just,
Sure.
above level. So he was being very verbal. Didn't want to listen to what we were saying. So Corey was like, he got on the mic because I've only been here for like just 3 weeks.
Sure.
But I've had Dunkin experience, so
Well, that shouldn't be a normal reaction of
it
somebody.
shouldn't be a normal reaction. So he didn't want to. Okay, so yeah, he was being really verbal for absolute no reason. So Corey got on the mic because he's the veteran here, the more experienced person.
Sure.
So he took over the mic and was like, "Can you not talk to the customer like that?"
I'm not trying to get on to you, man.
Yeah, no. So let me just say, my name is Corey Pujols.
We knew Corey was going to, so me and Corey went up there to wait and tell him to leave again. He didn't want to listen again, so we asked him to leave multiple times, and that's when, he called Corey the N-word, and it escalated from there.
What did you see happening from there?
From what I seen is I heard him Corey told me to call the cops off rip. So I was calling the cops, I was calling my manager, I was calling everybody. And the dude, he kept on, being violent, very rude. So
When you say violent, like physically violent,
no,
or
not
just verbally?
physically. I don't think he physically touched Corey, but mentally, trying to get into Corey's mind.
Sure.
Mess with him and around with his head. So then Corey, he was like, "Okay, we're gonna ask you one more time. We're gonna either, you're gonna leave or we're gonna call the cops." I was already calling the cops. So he didn't want to leave. He was like, "There's a bunch of niggas, this, that, and third, your nicknames." Corey was like, "One more time," and he called him another nick, and that's what happened. I was right here. And I was on the phone with my manager and the police officers at that time.
Let me explain something to you, fam. If you call somebody a name and they tell you, say it one more time, you should prepare yourself for combat. And you should really be in a position to win. You should not say it again and get knocked out cold, get swept up. You shouldn't. That don't make a lot of sense to me.
Absolutely, I'm with Willie. Like, yeah, if you're going to say something, like if somebody says, "Say it one more time," and then you say it one more time, like Willie said, you should be in a position to win. That don't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? See, just because he been walking around saying it for 77 years, he just think, oh, because I've been saying it so long, it don't matter. Thinking that everybody just going to accept it because everybody he didn't came across already in 76 years let him get away with saying it. But he stepped in front of the wrong person in his 77th year, who didn't let him get away with saying it. The person he stepped in front of in his 77th year on this earth did not let him get away with it like the past 76 people that he stepped in front of. But I guess if you've been saying something for 76 years, you would think, I guess, that everybody you come across, don't matter how old you are, after that 77, he didn't make it past 77, but if he would have made it past any of those years, 78 years, 79 years, I guess he would have just continued. But let's get back into it. This is crazy.
If somebody tell you say it again, that means as soon as you say it again, you finna get your ass whooped. You about to get handled. Why would you say it again? Because you've said it so many times and gotten away with it. That's why you would say it again. So he said it again, and he never said it again. Because 3 days later, Vanell succumbed to his injuries. Yeah, fam. And here's the legal outcome.
You see, yeah. You heard what Willie said? He said it that one more time, got that right hook from the manager out at Dunkin. And, yeah, he made him fall out. And, yeah, he ain't gonna never say it again. But here's the legal outcome where Willie is getting ready to get into. Let's get into that.
He died of his injuries, and Corey was initially charged with aggravated manslaughter, but later accepted a plea deal for felony battery. He was sentenced to 2 years of house arrest, 3 years probation, 200 hours of community service, and mandatory anger management, avoiding prison time. Prosecutors cited Pujols' clean record, Cook's aggression and racial slurs, and uncertainty under Florida's stand your ground laws as reasons for the reduced charge.
Advertisement, y'all. Hold on.
I ain't got no problem with that. That is what you.
That's me and Willie's 3 claps. You know, that's one of our things. Yeah, I don't got no problem with that.
Call moral flexibility. Something that the courts typically don't afford black defendants.
Facts.
Moral flexibility. That is taking things under consideration, considering all things, not just cut and dry, you did this, you did that. It's no, let's look at this guys, let's look at the people involved, and let's look at what happened and how it happened, how things unfolded. This guy, he comes into the establishment after leaving the drive-thru, and he creates a disturbance. He's cussing, he's using vile words toward the employees who are simply there trying to do their job. And then he gets rocked. He gets dropped, he bumps his little fragile head, and he dies 3 days later as a result of his injuries. The guy who hit him is employed. He's at work. He has a clean criminal history. He's never been in trouble before. This guy, who is a nuisance, a menace to society, a child predator, confronted this guy, the good guy, who's never been in trouble before. This menace to society confronts him. This guy who has a history of exploiting children confronts him and uses one of the most vile words in the English lexicon. And
yeah, a guy who has a clean record versus a guy who be messing with children. Just listen to that part by itself. A man who has a clean record, and then the man who be messing, bothering children. Let's get back into it.
He gets dropped and he dies. You know what the prosecutors are secretly saying to themselves? Well, he actually did society a favor. He took out the trash. And for that, thank you for your service, sir. No more talk.
My stepsister punished me hard for talking to her prince.
Yeah, y'all. I really want to hear people's comments and their thoughts on this one. But for people who have children, siblings, nephews, nieces, sisters, brothers, whatever, I agree with Willie. He did society a favor. He took out the trash. You heard me say that even at the beginning. But I would love to hear y'all thoughts, about this. Drop your comments. But that was the last time, as you heard, of him ever using that word ever again, knowing that he's been using it for 77 years, y'all. But he sure didn't make it to 78 years using it. I would love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment. You obviously know how I feel about it. He should have not have been using it, and knowing that he's 77 years old. We're not talking about somebody from this newer, younger generation or somebody like that. This is somebody who is 77 years old. And all of this was over coffee at Dunkin Donuts because they asked him what he wanted. I think they didn't have what he wanted that day, so they asked him, did he want something else? He obviously agreed to something else. He was complaining that it was cold. The manager was trying to help him, and the manager said it seemed like he was just having a bad day already anyway. Out here doing things to women and children, and using that word, the N word, for 77 years. Corey Pujols, did society a favor. Let's do the clap. Me and Willie's permanent clap one more time. And you know what the prosecutors, like Willie said, are saying to themselves? He took out the trash. No more talk. Peace.